very seriously as we are continuing to track this tornado warning. Thanks, Steph. As Steph mentioned, it's really looking to be moving towards Franklin. It is not yet into South Milwaukee and Oak Creek, but if you are in any of those towns, this is going to be heading your way. The skies are very dark. While there is not an actual report of a tornado on the ground or any funnel seen, it is radar indicated right now as this rotation, which you can see here, this transition of the green to red coming together, that has intensified, indicating that there is at least rotation in the storm spinning. The question is, can that travel from the clouds to the ground? That is what we are tracking. If you have any reports, please send this in. But moving east about 25 miles an hour. So we're continuing to track again South Milwaukee, Oak Creek for the main areas. We originally saw just some stronger winds within this coming out west, but as it's moved closer to the lake, interacted with that lake breeze, started to rotate that storm a little bit. That is why that tornado warning has been issued until 5:45. So based on this last scan, it looks like it might be a little bit broader, Steph.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Broader is going to be better. That means the rotation is not as strong. It could be more favorable north of Oak Creek now for having some very gusty winds, 50, 60 miles an hour, not out of the question, but the rotation threat is looking to be a lot less, which is good. We still have that tornado warning until 5:45, but north of Oak Creek is where we're watching again some of that rotation heading into areas of South Milwaukee. So again, if you're just tuning in with us, Oak Creek towards South Milwaukee, Franklin area, get into your safe spot. Better be safe than sorry. Even though our scans are looking a little bit better and improving, at least in terms of our spin in the atmosphere, you do want to get into your safe spot, get away from the windows. Even if there is a tornado, you might not see it, and the strong wind gusts with this could definitely blow out the glass in your window as well. So you don't want to be looking for anything outside. Get into your lowest area of your building or the most central location and put as many walls in between you and the outdoors. We are still going to track this again as it's moving closer to the lake. That means the end time on this will be in just a short while. I don't know if we can put a track on this, Steph, to kind of see where this rotation is and when is this storm going to move over the lake. I know there's not a lot of towns impacted on this, but would you say, at least by the rate it's going right now, maybe another 10 minutes or so is going to be our biggest thing? Right now, as we're looking at our clock here, 5:32, it goes until 5:45. So it is not a very long warning, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be taken seriously. We really need to watch areas still around Oak Creek and north. That is where we are tracking some of this very weak rotation that is just to the south of South Milwaukee. So that's where we're going to be watching that, continuing to stick on air with you to try to keep you safe along Highway 32, south of South Milwaukee, heading towards Oak Creek. We are more than likely going to have some stronger winds coming out of this on the south portion of this storm near Oak Creek. But thankfully, as it looks right now, I don't think we're getting any new reports. Because it is closer to the lake, that means we'll have a shorter duration for this thunderstorm, which could be producing a tornado, to be on the ground. Going to move over the lake again in about just a couple of minutes. We have at least another 10 to 16 minutes on this warning, but we are continuing to track this for the potential of a tornado. We are not seeing, again, any other storms at this time that are dealing with tornado warnings. In fact, most of the activity, which Stephanie has been covering earlier today, it has just been bringing heavy rain, maybe some small hail, but it's really been the rain, the ominous skies, and some gusty winds associated with these storms. We have at least a special storm statement or special weather statement around some storms, which most of these have had today, but with the flare up of that lake breeze, with the winds coming out of the storm, that is what triggered some rotation as we are looking at southern portions of Milwaukee County. So again, still having that tornado warning going until 5:45. Oak Creek to South Milwaukee, those are the areas we are focusing on most to still have some broader rotation right now. Steph, do you know if we have any hail within this as we are looking at our Vil tracks here? Okay, so we still definitely could have some smaller hail and gusty winds within this, even though, again, that tornado threat is looking to be low. The torrential rain could be one of those factors that really reduces visibility visibility as well. So if there is some rotation and there is a potential funnel, you probably wouldn't see it. You will want to get inside again with some small hail. This isn't looking to be anything substantially large, but it's the hail, the heavy rainfall that will blind your vision visibility wise, as well as the velocity. Let's switch back over to the actual storm right now for our radar. Notice this isn't just impacting Oak Creek, but this is stretching up towards Milwaukee and even to the western portions of the county along Highway 45. Some intense storms there. Let's go back over to the velocity real quick, Steph, just to see if we have a new scan or update on this. Right now, this, I would say, it looks to be very broad, right, as you're mentioning. Oak Creek looking to have the brighter reds with some stronger wind gusts there, but we're watching right here this slight indication where the rotation is north of Oak Creek along Highway 32. South Milwaukee, you are going to be the ones that really should be more concerned with this because that rotation is closer to you. So if you are in South Milwaukee and just tuning in, we have this tornado warning for 10 more minutes. Thankfully, it has been weakening, but because we have had that lake breeze causing a quick spin up within this storm, it is going to be a concern for the potential of a tornado that could be forming. Now, Steph, do you have any updates that you are seeing on your end from the National Weather Service or in general of this storm as it's moving through?
You know, no actual updates from the National Weather Service, so all eyes obviously still on this storm, but I believe we have a couple of cameras we can probably show in this area. Howard, our producer, I don't know if you guys still have that camera up, but it looks like this is Drexel, I-94 at Drexel. Obviously very ominous clouds, dark skies. I'm sure the rain is about to become very heavy. It doesn't look terrible as far as the rain goes right now, but again, this is one of the spots that's really dealing with this storm as we speak. And I'm sure our Milwaukee cams probably look pretty similar too, if any are looking south. Obviously, the extent of this storm is mainly south of the Milwaukee area, the Milwaukee metro, but Oak Creek to South Milwaukee, as you've been talking about, Lisa, I mean, that's the spot.
Yeah, and it's very dark by looking at those cameras right now. Traffic moving a little slower. And one thing I want you to notice, we don't necessarily have flat terrain here everywhere. We have a lot of trees. We have a lot of structures. So with rotation and the concern of a potential tornado within this storm, you're likely not going to see much because we do have a lot in terms of structures as well as vegetation out there. So the rain as it moves through could be extremely heavy. But here's the good news. As we're watching this loop, you'll notice that we see these bright reds and greens coming together right near Oak Creek, and then we kind of see it fizzle out. That means this storm is weakening as it is now pushing slightly further east, while there still, again, could be possibly some gusty winds just to the east of Oak Creek. The overall rotation really does not look to be existent as much as what I'm looking at here on our screen. We're still going to have the thunder and lightning, which will be very loud, the heavy rain, the hail potential within this. But Steph, I'd say this is definitely an improvement over the past couple of minutes, all showing good signs for people who might be in their safe spot right now, might be tuning in wondering what's going on. Here's that update. We have had a tornado warning, especially areas of Franklin moving towards South Milwaukee and Oak Creek. That is until 5:45, but we have drastically lost that rotation within the storm, which is great news for us. That really limits that potential for any tornado or funnel to form at all, and then lessens the risk for people who are in South Milwaukee and near Oak Creek. Now, again, that being said,
if I could cut you off real quick, Lisa, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely, Steph.
As you just talked about, the rotation is now out over the lake, so the National Weather Service did actually just cancel the warning a little bit early, which is great news. Set to expire at 5:45, but now, because all of that rotation, as you were just talking about, is now basically out over the lake, that warning has been allowed to expire.
Perfect. Well, there's our update. Let's take the radar one last time so at least people can kind of see what's going on. That warning, I know the red box is still there, is expired, so no longer dealing with a tornado warning, as Stephanie just mentioned, but we are still going to be dealing with some strong thunderstorms moving through the southern half of Milwaukee County, especially still over Oak Creek and heading to the border of areas near Kenosha County, so and Racine area. So you want to keep in mind that we are still going to have a stronger storm moving through. Hail, gusty winds, lightning, torrential rainfall at times is possible, but this is going to be over the lake before we know it. If we could zoom out a little more, Steph, just giving everyone else a quick update of what's going on elsewhere. Notice we don't have much activity. We are watching a couple storms forming from Fond du Lac into northern portions of Sheboygan County, but there's a lot of dry areas off to the west. We are still watching these little pop-up cells, so you want to be weather aware through the evening hours until about 10 o'clock tonight. We still can have a couple stronger storms, not ruling out the chance for even a severe storm. The primary threats would be for hail and gusty winds, but as we just saw here, we had a tornado warning. So the tornado threat, while it's low, it is not zero. You just want to be weather aware through the day. Today, again, we're going to continue to watch anything that pops up, but the good news, that tornado warning has ended. Steph and I will be here watching the storms. We'll have more news and weather after the break.